Hello boys and girls, let's do today's math lesson. We're on 12.7, which is measure length using different metric units. That's on page 533. We are going to do this measurement task on the front page today. It says measure this pencil in inches, then measure it again in centimeters. Which measurement has more units? So did you have more centimeters or more inches? Okay, so fill in those on the bottom after you've measured it, and you can pause while you're finishing that up. Okay, now when we turn into the inside, I want you to look at the green band on the top. I'm going to read it to you. Please follow along with me. You can use different units to measure the length of objects. Would you use more units of centimeters or meters to measure a desk? Okay, centimeters are much smaller than meters, right? Measured the length using centimeters. They found it is about 91 centimeters long. Now measured the length using meters. It's about 1 meter long. So he says I used more units of centimeters than meters because a centimeter is a much smaller unit than a meter. Okay, that makes sense. This is just like when we did inches and feet, right? So let's look at convince me together. All right, that's our box right here. Tina measures the length of a room with the centimeter rulers. She could find this length with the meter sticks. Would Tina need fewer rulers or meter sticks? Okay, so if she's going to measure a whole room with a centimeter ruler, would she use fewer rulers or meter sticks? Okay? You decide on that and then explain why. Now, for the next few, we're skipping a couple. So number 1 we're going to do, okay, but number 2 we're going to skip. All right, so number 1, find a bookshelf or a cabinet or of some sort in your home, and you're going to measure it and find about how many centimeters is it, and then about how many meters is it. And remember, to find a meter, you'll probably have to use your ruler 3 times. If you use your ruler 3 times, you've got, plus a little more, you've got 1 meter. All right, and then you decide, I use more units of centimeters or meters. All right. Then we're going to look at the next page, and we're actually going to skip number 3 because probably not everybody has a bulletin board in their home, right? And we'll look at number 4 for a door. So about how many meters is the door you measured, and then about how many centimeters is the door you measured. And then you can find I use fewer units of centimeters or meters. Note that it says fewer. You have to be careful with how they're asking these questions. Sometimes they'll ask for how many more, or I had more of, or I had fewer of. Which unit? Okay, so pause while you finish that up, and then we'll look at the problem solving. Okay, number 5. Jay measured the height of his bedroom in both centimeters and meters. Did he use fewer units of centimeters or meters? And explain why. So what would he use fewer of? The meters or the centimeters? All right, now remember, meters are much bigger, so you should have fewer meters. All right, and that explains why, because they're bigger. All right, now we're on to the problem solving on the back. We are going to do all 4 of these today. Number 6, if you had to measure the length of the hallway outside of your classroom, would you use centimeters or meters? Now, you don't actually have to measure it. You just have to say, what would you use? Would you use centimeters, which are very small, or meters, which are comparable to a yard, bigger? And explain why you would do that. Pause while you're finishing that one up. And we will look at number 7, higher order thinking. A meter stick is about 39 inches long. Is a meter longer or shorter than a yard? Okay, so if a meter stick is 39 inches long, we know that a yard is 3 feet, then you have to decide how many inches are in feet, right? So there's 12 inches in 1 foot, and you have 3 of them. So you're going to have 12 plus 12 plus 12. Looks like this, okay? Once you find that, is that more or less than 39? Okay. So is a meter longer or shorter than a yard? Is 39 bigger or smaller than this number that you get here? That's what you have to decide. So that will tell you if a meter is bigger or smaller than a yard. All right, pause to finish that up. Number 8, estimate the length of a baseball bat in centimeters and meters. All right, and then fill them in. For that, you're just making an educated guess, right? We've already talked about baseball bats in relation to meters and yards. Okay, so you should know about how many meters it is for that one, and then your centimeters, use what you know about how many centimeters are on a ruler to decide about how many you would have. But in the end, it doesn't have to be exact. It's just an estimation. You should, however, have one of those numbers be much bigger than the other one. And that's the important part of this question. So which number must be greater? The number for the centimeters or the number for the meters? And then you have to explain why. All right, number 9. Once you've finished up number 8, Tina measures the length of a jump rope using different units. How will her measurements compare? All right, so she's measuring that jump rope. You don't have to measure that jump rope, okay? I think you'll be able to answer these questions without measuring it. So you're going to choose yes or no for each one of these. I'm going to read through each one of them. She will have more units of meters than centimeters. Is that true? Yes or no? She'll have more units of inches than feet. Yes or no? And she'll have more units of yards than feet. Yes or no? Okay, so this was really a thinking lesson today. I think it's a good one. If you hung in there with me, you're all done. I'll see you at our meet this morning.